And someone who was expected to attend the Met Gala but didn't show up was Katy Perry. But that didn't keep people from falling for these AI-generated photos of Katy Perry at the event. Check out these two photos of what appear to be Katy Perry at the Met Gala. The one in the large floral dress that you just saw right there has been viewed more than 8 million times on X, while this one has racked up over 2 million views. Even Katy Perry's own mother thought that these photos were real. Tech analyst Carmi Levy joins us now with more on the AI controversy at the Met. Carmi, when you first saw these photos circulating on the internet, I mean, with your skilled eye, were you right away like, no, these are fake, or would you have fallen for it?
I mean, at first glance, I probably would have said, oh, Katy Perry wore a really interesting dress to the Met Gala, and I would have moved on. I wouldn't have really thought that I should lean in. And if I had, I might have seen there some differences in shadowing and lighting that you could really probably see if you were very careful in observing. But the reality is most of us, as we're scrolling through our feeds, aren't looking that closely, and we've reached the point where the majority of synthetically generated content like this, it's good enough to fool us. And if it fooled Katy Perry's mom, it's good enough to fool us too. Yeah,
and that's a very scary reality, because obviously the Met Gala is really this showcase of designers' artworks that these A-listers wear. And so for AI to generate this garden-themed dress for Katy Perry, two of them, it's kind of taking away, you know, a lot of the star power from the designers at the Met Gala, correct?
It certainly does, because what we see, we're supposed to believe, and increasingly as AI infiltrates what we see, what we hear, what we interact with, we're going to believe it less. And so the power of a platform like the Met Gala to reach an audience, to show off the capabilities of these incredible designers, it's going to wane, because increasingly we're not going to believe what we see. And so we're reaching what we like to call a post-truth era, where we literally should not believe what we see online until it's proven otherwise. We have to go into this being cynical, which is a terrible thing to say. But given the fact that the platforms themselves aren't doing much to really illustrate what's going on here, to show this is synthetic, this isn't real, it's cool looking, but it isn't Katy Perry, trust us, we're going to have to be more cynical than we have been.
Yeah, and that's a sad reality, because obviously with something like the Met Gala, you can have someone, you know, confirm whether or not it is real or not. But for other things, whether it be photography books or internet accounts, you don't have that verification process. Carmi, what's being done? I know that the federal government is investing a ton of money in AI research. It can help artists, but what's being done to kind of safeguard people from AI and protect artists?
Well, some of the platforms have gotten together in the U.S. and they're working on a voluntary standard that would have AI-generated content labeled consistently across their platforms. Not in place yet, but they're working toward it. We do have legislation in the pipeline here in Canada, known as Bill C-27, that will sort of be the first sort of AI-specific legislation, but it does not contain labeling requirements, and they acknowledge it needs to be updated. European Union just enacted the AI Act that does have labeling requirements, but of course they don't apply here. So things are being done, but it's piecemeal and it's going to take some time. And of course, while all these legislative protections are being put in place, the technology gets better by the day. The tools are much more easy to use, so you don't need to be an expert. And anyone who wants to can go online, subscribe to them, and generate their own synthetic content and spread it virally, just as we've seen here.
Yeah, I guess seeing is believing is just no longer true with AI these days. Tech analyst Carmi Levy, really appreciate your time and insight. Thanks for joining us.